Thank you to Westpac Lifestyle for sponsoring this video. Hello all you beautiful people and lovers of food. Today I'm going to be doing a bit of a Q&A session where I'm going to bring in one of my best friends from Scotland who studied to be a chef with me. We're going to answer all the questions that all my viewers have been asking. My name is Vivian and I am your Easy Chef. David is visiting me from Scotland. He's staying with me for a little bit, so I've roped him into one of my videos. I think it's going to be fun to have him help me answer some of these questions because, you know, sometimes we don't all have the same opinions. And yeah, I'm very excited to hear what he has to say, as well as what my viewers have to ask.
Yeah, it was quite strange coming here when I was asked to help in the kitchen, but it's not quite what I was expecting.
The first question we have comes from our viewer Kaylee. She has asked us, how do you work out grams versus mils? So from my side, that really does depend on what you are converting. If you're converting something like a pasta, you can't have a cup of pasta equal a cup or 250 mils.
That was a really bad example to use. Don't use pasta. How do you weigh a cup of spaghetti?
What is a good example?
It's more, I'm assuming it's flour and sugar, rice maybe, water or liquids.
But for me, it really, what it boils down to is how much air is between the particles that is in the cup. So the more gaps there are, obviously, the bigger the difference is going to be.
Because like icing sugar and a normal sugar, a cup of each, it's the same thing, but it's not going to weigh the same.
Because one is way denser than the other.
Yeah, it's quite a tricky one to
So say. I think the best thing to do, I think water is a 1-to-1 ratio. So
water,
if you want mils of water to grams of water, that's 1-to-1, and I think a lot of liquids are. I think oil is denser.
Oil is a little bit denser, yeah.
So you might just want to have a look at some of the conversion rates that are already worked out on the internet. That would be my best advice, just to make sure you're doing it right. Next question comes from a Jonathan, and he asks, what is the easiest way to separate egg yolk? This, I think, is one of those things where you can either separate an egg nicely or you struggle. I don't know, David, how do you normally separate eggs?
Well, the way that a lot of people would do it in sort of restaurants is a little bit different to how most of you guys are going to do it at home. The easiest way, I think, to do one egg is to sort of obviously crack the egg and try and keep most of it in one half. And then you sort of pour the egg yolk between the two halves. And then most of the egg white will come out into a separate bowl, and then you have your egg yolk into another separate container that you're needing.
I think from my side that is also what I would do. Unless I'm separating a lot of eggs, then I'd probably break them all into one big bowl and then I'll just take them out with my hand, because that I think is a little bit faster than juggling with an eggshell.
Yes.
But I think that really depends on the quantity of eggs that you are going to be separating. I'd like to take this moment to thank Westpac Lifestyle for sponsoring this video. They really do have a wide range of cutlery, crockery, and all the kitchen tools you'll need to really kit out your kitchen. So make your way to the nearest branch. They are nationwide. Thank you. Our next question, let's just have a look. This comes from Victoria, and she asks us how to rescue oversalting. Now this, I think, is something I've done. I remember I did this to some cream the other day and it was just awful. Long story short, there isn't really any way you can make anything less salty. But what you can do is you can double up the volume of what you were making so that it all is a normal salt level.
Yeah, that's the only way that I know of as well, is to bulk up the pot or the quantity that you've got. Without adding more salt, obviously. The other thing that is useful to try and remember is that you can't take any out, but you can always add more. So when you're making it, always under salt. And then when you've finished making the dish, slowly add in bits of salt until you've got your like desired level.
What about a potato? Because this is an old, as far as I'm concerned, it's an old wives' tale that if you add a potato into your food, it will take all that salt out.
Yeah. Potatoes do love salt. They do take quite a lot of seasoning when you're making potato dishes. I also love a nice salty mashed potato.
I think what it boils down to is it does that same thing where it increases the volume of your dish and therefore makes your entire dish less salty. But I don't think if you put too much salt in a cake of potato is going to help very much.
No, definitely not.
Our next question comes from Lindy Ware. She is asking, I enjoyed seeing your mom on the show. Will you be putting other guests on your show? Lindy Ware, I loved having my mom on the show. I'm enjoying having David on the show so much. I've also got a plan that, in the areas that I'm not an expert, maybe bringing in a few people who know how to do it better. Like, I promise you, I don't know everything, so I'm always willing to learn, and I always love having guests. Food always tastes better when you have friends and family. Okay, David, your turn. That one.
Okay. Okay, so Tim is asking, what is the most diverse baking item? Oh.
That is such a hard question to ask because I feel like it really depends what you like making.
Yeah.
Because what you make obviously requires different tools. But if I were to, I don't know, a sieve?
A sieve, yeah. You can do a lot of things, or you need a sieve for a lot of things, yeah.
And you can strain, but that's not baking. Straining a soup isn't baking. Making a sauce is, I suppose you can be baking. On glaze.
You can, you strain your sauces and things, your dessert sauces and things like that. Make purees or jams or something, things like that.
What else is versatile?
I really enjoy silpats or silicon baking sheets.
Yes.
You can do so many different things on them.
I said that as one of your kitchen essentials in my last video, so I actually have to agree with that. But I think if it's baking, I think I have to agree with a silicone mat. And I think for just a versatile kitchen item, I think a sieve is quite good. I also think knives are great.
You don't need, knives are a thing that all chefs are quite passionate about, I believe. You don't need 40 different knives for every single thing. Just need a few good quality ones. And that's it.
Very true. Wendy is asking me, what is Ryan's favorite thing that I make? I must be honest, Ryan loves my butter chicken. So if you haven't seen this video yet, go have a look, give it a like, and then you'll, I think, understand why it is Ryan's favorite dish. But he has a few that he likes.
Okay, so next one. So from another Dave. Dave says, can you use castor sugar instead of normal sugar? Yes, is the very quick answer. It's exactly the same thing. One is just finer than the other.
I know I've done it before where I needed caster sugar for the recipe and all I did is I just put a little bit of white sugar into a blender and I let it run so I could try to get it finer, and then I use that as a substitute. So yes, you can use normal sugar instead of caster sugar. I think you just got to process it, or if you don't, it's probably not going to be the end of the world.
Yeah, I've done that many times as well.
The blender.
Blending the normal sugar, yeah.
It seems so silly, but it works.
No, absolutely.
Okay. What is your go-to spice for guaranteed flavor? Thank you, Grant, for this question. I think this really is a very personal thing. I think most people have a standard of having pepper on the table, so I'd say that's probably the most used spice. But for me, I do love, and I won't say this for baking, vanilla would be for baking. For savory dishes, I would probably say cumin. I really do like cumin.
Okay. I mean, pepper is my go-to. I put pepper on almost everything. savoury at least. I actually use pepper sometimes for desserts as well. I really enjoy pepper with strawberries. It's a really nice, unusual pairing.
Okay. I must say, strawberry and pepper is good. If you haven't tried it, it's recommended. Recommended by chefs. Is it better to dry fry or fry halloumi? So I think she's talking about halloumi cheese.
Yes, I believe so.
This is Regina. Thank you for your question, Regina. I am not 100% sure if you're asking to use a dry pan or put oil in your pan, or if you're talking about putting it on a pan versus deep frying it. So let's go with both answers for you, so you know all what you need to know about halloumi. I think for the most part, if you are going to cook halloumi on a pan, don't add oil. It starts breaking down the oils in the cheese and makes it go a little bit sloppy.
Yeah, I think that's a good tip there. I think I really like to add like a little bit of butter at the end of like if you're dry frying the halloumi, to just add a little bit of butter in, gives it a nice coating, nice little shine to the halloumi.
Is that after you've made it like a little crispy on both sides?
Yes, so like fry it a little bit, or dry fry it a little bit, and then just at the end, a little bit of butter gives it a much richer colour and a bit of taste.
If you are going to be deep frying your halloumi, I think it is best to do a coating on your halloumi. I think if you deep fry it without the coating, it's probably going to crumble and disintegrate into your oil and cause a big mess. So I think, to answer the question shortly, if you're going to deep fry it, give it a coating. If you're going to pan fry it, rather use a dry pan. And if you like a nice chef tip, add a little bit of butter in the end to give it a nice shine and nice flavour.
The other little bit about deep frying with the halloumi, sometimes you get these like packets of halloumi, they've got it's like a brine that they're in, sort of. If you put that sort of watery liquid into a deep fat fryer, very dangerous.
Explode.
It will pop, the oil will go everywhere, spray your face. Personal experience, don't recommend it. 1 out of 10.
1 out of 10. Pain threshold exceeded.
Yes.
Macy has asked, what is your favorite dish to cook, and what is your favorite dish to eat, and are they the same thing? No, they are not the same thing. There are way too many things that I enjoy cooking and way too many things that I enjoy eating. But I do particularly like bread. If I'm honest, I enjoy baking bread. It takes long. It's a labor of love. Anyone who's baked bread knows it's a labor of love.
Definitely.
And I also really enjoy fresh bread. Like when it's just come out the oven, you know that smell. Everyone knows that smell. You smell it when you walk past the bakery in the shops, and that is definitely a top 10 for me. I don't know, what do you have, David? What do you like making and eating?
So I've got an incredibly sweet tooth. So a lot of my favourite things to eat and cook as well are desserts. I think it's quite a common thing in restaurants, but creme brulee for me is one of the best desserts ever. Like, just period, best desserts ever.
Creme brulee is good. It is good.
It is so good.
Okay, but do you like yours like the plain standard classic, or do you like yours where they've put like a fruit compote inside, or they've made it a chocolate one? You know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you mean, yeah.
Variations of creme brulee.
I think if you're, this is going to get a bit chefy now. If I was like trying to work out if it's a really good creme brulee, like whether or not it's
decently made
quality, it would have to be vanilla, just a plain classic creme brulee. But I am not averse to flavourings and things. Raspberry creme brulee is very nice. That sort of sharp acidity of the fruit that cuts through the creaminess. And I also love making them. It's one of my favourite desserts to make as well. Yeah.
Okay. Would you say there's something else that you enjoy making that you don't necessarily enjoy eating?
That I don't enjoy eating.
But you just love to make it.
You know what? I really, really, really hate mushrooms. And you know this. You've made me mushrooms many times.
What is it that you like to make with mushrooms?
But I actually love cooking with mushrooms. because they're just so versatile. There's so many different types. You can do so many different things with them, and I even love like the smell of like frying mushrooms. I really like it.
That's so sad.
But I just can't eat them. I don't know what it is, but it's just something doesn't quite work.
That is a little bit sad. Just a little bit. I would say that something I don't enjoy eating, but I love making is fish. I just don't like fish.
Okay.
I don't know why, I just don't like fish. And I also don't like raisins. This is something people asked. It's not on the list. Why didn't you put raisins in your apple pie? I don't like raisins. It's just a personal preference.
I actually kind of agree with you there.
Would it not be an apple and raisin pie if you added raisins?
Well, yeah, I guess so. Like, I really dislike raisins in stuff. So in cakes and breads and things like that. But I will eat raisins on their own. I love raisins on their own, but in things, it's a no. It's a no.
Not even a Christmas cake.
Oh, this is now getting into like unpopular opinion territory.
Hey.
I don't like
Christmas cake.
Dense fruit, like Christmas fruitcakes.
Hey, you just haven't had enough brandy in yours. That's what it boils down to.
Possibly, yeah.
I just don't like the fact that the ones I normally get to eat have been in the freezer for 7 months.
That's not good for anything though.
On that controversial note, I think that wraps up all our questions and answers. I'd just like to thank David for coming and answering the questions with me. I appreciate his opinion and his take on life, basically.
Thank you for having me. It's been fun. Yeah, enjoyed it. It wasn't what I was expecting to do this afternoon, but yeah, it's been good.
Awesome. Stay delicious, beautiful people, and we'll see you next time. Bye. We leave now.
I guess we're leaving now then.
That's how I do it all the time. I just leave. I don't know what to do when I'm done. I just run away.